he gave us his only son. Mijide sa ho ye, so me ho ye. Eni die kwan so obu kwan so sese ya me no ka say no. Lucius, e wo monsa benkum antenten so, wa hye the fugu fine. And as usual of innocent, very simple, but obi na no a no be say very complicated. Innocent. And so ewa ha. Ye be kan sem mienu emre be mu ade aka ne ye de betra so. De di kan Ofori Atta na ye mu de yan alatani na se Ghana ni no. Because me say na ye mu de yan.
Na ye too.
Wo de ye mu alatani na Ghana ni. Anyway, I'm only asking. Say what Trokrata ba say nikunu surgery na ye say e be ye no ya ye wie. Na mo be ma no be hia bosome porpore emiensa. Una me sha se fi innocent ho. So you say 90 medical days are kire say eno minim say the working days and medical days are maybe Monday to Friday are 90 and I said maybe innocent to be the best person to explain this to us. Many should saying who medical field. Tony ho. Enti said the one him dada no eba no prostate hu ne manema na there's a new medical technology UK for na then crofobia na dey sade na ba first nanka wo Johnson no prostate na semba ho a yitwa okase tenten na ya dabi robotic surgery no ye bodo to say pew na ye wie eno no kura na ye wie ya wa cha 3 days ye se bibia wa asase so wie apesa o ye bia no which we hear because you're correcting a comma near the amount. But can Ofori Atta the end of the year, Namo no, we hear Bosome Porpore Miensa, nor the Atiapo, or Tiapo Yenes or Beba Ghana. Now, Waba, Lucius Mache. Over to you.
Captain, my mention, not mention what you for. Lamenka say, you sympathize with Ken Ofori Atta. Because yare the obia to me yare said that there be a Mexicano and cancer nya there the toswa the papa. So for him to being exposed to your friend saying such a situation is an ordeal. I definitely know he will have to go through and as a forum. But the what makes this whole thing funny? The aspect are the people communicating to the government of this country, the people who are giving out the information and as for because there has been a formal activation of communication between Ofori Atta and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Any Niamabia air Kosubiano, that formal channel no should be activated. Relevant information is available biano. Must not even come from Ofori Atta. Maybe the hospital by now should have been able to establish that link. So second, Ofori Atta agree that kind of communication can be streamlined. Sabaya, anything that comes to Ghana no will appear to be an official statement coming from Ofori Atta and the doctors. That one is official. We take it for something value. What the analysis are. We cannot base this whole thing on a theory that has been propounded by a wife. Are you very insignificant in this whole thing? Koso. Obetimiaka nensem, but the thing is, can the state take some and wife formally abra the state near ready to go after the person in this particular manner? For me, I think that this whole thing they are just joking and toying with the people of this country. And I have sat on this platform and I have told you, say, Ofori Atta and you're not being so about Kurumase. So Ghanaians should just forget about it. Say, president, the government, any formal channel that has to be activated. Say, extradition, or the way a man will go after things, Yes, surgery, sometimes, you anticipate possible complications, because cancer, if it is true, complications, but some of these things, must not come from a wife. Say, Ofori Atta person taking it serious, obetimi man the doctors actually formally to the Office of the Special Prosecutor or the people of this country say these are some of the reasons why, because we anticipated there may be a possible post-surgical complications, and then as a we want full recovery for the person. And he says this period then you betimi the number. So whenever you are communicating in that particular line now, a man will take you serious than a wife or any medical way, and in some now kind is not backed with any fact. He will come a basana about resurrected the long held notion and impression. Some of us will say the gentleman is not ready and are not prepared to come to this country because prior to the surgery, and I've told you, say, not on you be another bedridden, or no be a obetimaka or dampum on to be nante, and to be magana, or be on to be flight team, then as a phone because you see. Some of these surgeries, you know, ayana and your friend is saying, how do you call it? Surgery, an emergency surgery. Some of these things, you know, sometimes a planned surgery. That is why I'm on long term. So it means that you put to sometimes they give you time and whole lot of stuff. And all this time I can for it and Ghana back and forth for so Mayo Clinic and for them was so bad faith. He never demonstrated any good faith, say, or Ghana to account for what things that he has done in this country. And said the Mr. Culture, Ghana for are angry and they are in expectant mode. Very often, you say, a will be a captain. Among for sympathizer with the person. See, a castle will be area. It doesn't matter. The Nippon or enemy crana, you see, said there is a bit of empathy. But if you go to various social media platforms and you see the way and manner Ghanaians are reacting to this Kenoforata tenor, you could see that there is zero empathy in this whole thing because you know why? Nema Kosu Okroma are Kenoforata at the center of the epic scandals of corruption. Kosu Okroma and we are talking about people who have significantly suffered at the hands of this gentleman. Among former banker, Papa Kwasindu, when Matisse say the man is not even well. I will be okay. You mama man for Jumaura and they are dying a Kaura and not or see about things as a man from Betches in the because God Coast, you know, there are several people, musical woman, Bessino Monsankaya, and there are several other staff at Aircoso. So for me, I think that we need to show that seriousness, that kind of and demonstrate to the people of this country. Say he is ready to account for his crimes because Neamana Akosu Okroma, he is the masterpiece at the center of this whole corruption puzzle now here try to unlock. Said the Debia Mexican, and for me, I think it's very shameful. Said the Akosunina on Nabusian for are trying to play and toy with the minds of the people of this country. And for me, that is the problem. And Captain, then say me to say let the Biaba Bontia Kenoforata family in the Chokoma special prosecutor say Omunyi Nabusian, Omunyinum free your friend saying Interpol red alert so na a good family anymore say daben you see and America say society na a team no there is absolutely no shame because say Nipa was sense of shame and a remorse that would be the last thing for them to do and that was absolutely nonsense. You understand because you see maybe some who say abra na Kenoforata ti kroma no gu amanfo bank airborne kwase abosia ye de oye ni nyina na family no mu vacation or China and I know more Zimbabwe. They never heard what happened. When the gentleman was out there doing all the nasty stuff, Ghana for you megu, Papa Kwasindu, Oguni Bank, when we had other options, because I mentioned, sir, in 2008, America had similar challenges. When Obama came, there was a tap, that is trouble, your friends say, asset, your friends say, district where you reliever, a buying on the buyer, just to buy all these district companies out of your friends debt. And Chase Bank and JP Morgan Chase in more financial way the government and make it available to go and buy this bank because in the financial sector then banks will have liquidity challenges. In America last 2 years about Signature Bank and several other banks because they all have challenges. Well, what they do is whenever they signal the red signs then they try either merger acquisition and I say takeover. Then I say for them say nipa no no omusika omonsanka. These options were available on the table. We proposed to Kenoforata said no, don't go after the individuals, don't go after the bank. We're Ghana for a year, Juma. He never listened to anybody. The gentleman destroy bank, destroy life. Obi oya bank manager we are not to preko or kwan ho family no omante when all this nasty stuff were going on in this country. Did you ever hear second of or family Okroma say when even the MPP as a political party some got peeved and said no, the gentleman is destroying our party and for that matter and the president will have to take him out, you know. Did you hear any family when the guy was here as a finance minister? I sat and I told you that he was sick. Man can't know our program way. So I told you that the guy was sick. Who need tears and you'll be never catch us or yare because the guy was puffy. At the time, you know, the family no any love for that gentleman. And because Komutuno for said, no, Ken, at this time, take a break, go and seek care for yourself. You allow him to hang on because at the time, People were enjoying him. People were flying first class. People were enjoying big contracts. You never spoke. And until now, Ghana for Atta family, they are concerned about politics and whatever that happens in this country. Go back to your friends at the banking sector. Among for your friends saying, yeah, the Omudi Musika. Government bond and family. I think they should give us a break. Some of this nonsense doesn't fly in the face of logic and in the face of reasoning. And we even anger Ghanaians anymore. And it is as a result of some of these things. And in Ghana for are not showing any empathy, sympathy towards the gentleman, despite the health ordeals in Nasafwa Okum. Because I want to hear Nema Wayan Okroma. Now, had the current predicament now. There is no way wait me sympathize with him because a bidum there Omanyara Nkoda hospital omuye papaya fa kama pharmaceutical say we Senchi mine Omunyina died as a result of all these things and Kanoforata one way or the other nensa the death of these people because they died as a result of hardship or the baomoso among for banking sector eku omo okroma nya de ketwa. All these things were going on. We never heard of a family realizing said Niamana ya banner ye very dangerous until let us come in. When the guy was foolishly borrowing in this country, all the Sika Kinke party because Wakobobosia, Nanya dam the whole team Okobobosia. Ya floaty bonda party and we celebrated some of this nonsense in this country and people thought yes they are the intellectuals. Now we all saw what happened and then I tried to get out of the woods. Under him Ghana's economy got junk and all the rating agents it got to a point that the whole Ghana, a sovereign country, could not step out there to borrow money because the gentleman has decapitated the head of the Ghana's economy. So I think that the family, wherever they are, they should just shut up and give Ghanaians a break because you see, we are not interested in those nasty politics because if they had anything sensible to say, a branch and your finance minister, maybe in Kayeniha, what's all these things? I won't follow say, Papa Quasindo, Papa Yonfane, Jabi, military miner captain. What's there on my life in Nasa? You think Omodo life I say, Omunia for a car, Papa Quasindo, dear man, for I have a friend or a medical doctor in there. Nisika was a good cost in about 500 to 600 million, and as for Obidia 1 billion, Obidia 3 billion. These things not happen because of Kendoforata, Shasas, or Gubank. If nothing at all, you need to take over because as a government, the economic security of the people is paramount. And sometimes a man for I see said that statement is absolute nonsense because as a state, it is your responsibility to ensure that you regulate these financial institutions so that Ghanaians will not fall because don't forget that. Yes, I know to fly. Oh, it's a fact. Yes, what I say? So those vulnerable people, it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that he protect those people. Now, your father saying, sorry, I'm 40 teams on now. What more damn about Sarafa? I was talking to Jay and I said that maybe a president and then short down the baby. Yes, yes. And the parties are not to say, Yamia in the camera born, said deeper way in or they will suffer. I was asking so. By the state, I do want to say, those vulnerable people, you take care of them. So in the same way, look at the financial sector now. Obinya tisa dibiaba ebia no nimu hunim dia odnisika no kwakohyem. So the state, award that regulatory mechanism na se for no. It is your job to ensure that you take care of these vulnerable people. You don't allow them to fall prey to some of these enterprises. Na nipa no kotom wia wa baka say your friend is saying on one greedy na se for no. And these are things that the financial sector na yaye. But your friend saying a captain, Yatsana Chrome ha, ama Sanema way in on 40. Near my say, yet me yamani ye, economy, the Ghana economy that come, and then a mere drum then dollar ni city not stabilize it. Amayaka, a swat slash by down, can Ghana can we so, and Nekaketwa. And it's not as if that these people didn't know what they were doing because the whole concept, the whole motive, they say, you're taking over the financial sector of this country. Now you're making sure that we own it, we control it. Even in opposition, we'll still be in control. But catching the person, Uyo be a windim nyansa na winya tumia. You should know that the most important thing that has to do with impacting positively on human beings. That is the only thing, because I told the idea you will need human beings. It's not about the many assets and so forth. But all these silly guys, when they got the money, you know what they did. Back for Timiko Jina Estate, no can't danya bombe 100, no Tony Jina, way and what way. Nobody focus on humanity building the next generation and as for Sabaya. Nipa da sanibe who say, oh, Abraboya yeah boy, men so these are the contribution Matimaya, man leave this particular legacy there for the younger generation. Sabaya or Monsono. It is all about ourselves, making sure say yeah, we build a financial empire for ourselves, our family, and the next generation to come. Sabaya ya maba omo mebre was asi we so now what we are saying say we are sure say what me atete o maya, you know that you push them to a pedestal, they can make life on their own, you understand that? But these criminals will only make sure say they set their children up forever, and for that matter no, they will be out of everybody's league. They live with a certain lifestyle onya adwuma omre onya hwe, but wayeyi an wo bekom no na sa sika na de yes ade money nyina ya me no ye sweat ye taxes na asefo na manfo didi nsemu no. So for me, I think that the states have to be very radical. Makase say John Mahama ban we si dan magana ni bia now to talk about Bia Nasa will go after these criminals. Ghanaians will never forgive him, and that is what he should do. And I like the way the Attorney General is going about it. Look at how few people sat at NSS. Me, Eddie and Sakobo, mine sikam, Sabayiwa, we on them Kroma, and then Wakota Football Club, and then why I say people were hailing her left, right, center. Nobody on his right senses. The question is, where is this person getting this money from? Not knowing, say, they've created a syndicate, a criminal investment, a cartel. And on my year, and on Master ghost names, they are Ghana and Kwan to meet your ghost, not the Otsasi in Tianaka, and that's a problem. Our ghost names over 80-something thousand. And yet me a first state way sika na da kwa ya da collateralize na kwa loan na se for sa nema we nyina koso okroma banks na no mo yes nema no they knew the fact, they knew what was going on. So for me, I think time has come for us to set the red lines in the sense near country Ghana and he said you need akwanya na de obenya to serve akwanya no ye bema but oba na obe mess up the laws of the land, you know, need to deal with you. Say by ya Ghana for be who say on mine, you cannot joke with the country because you see, say you create that aura of weakness around us where people come to power, they mess up, and I know that all that they can do. They say yamfa ahem from kopachao yamfa sofoni echini yan kopachao and we will be forgiven. Trust me, we will never go anywhere because there are countries that far larger people are suffer similar fate. The last time I make a the United States of America, Captain, in the year 1973, they had a vice president. Your friend is Phil Agnew. What he did, or a senator of Maryland, under him, no, at the time, I know a senator, no, not or evade tax and tax kickbacks and then as for a buyer. When the issue pop up, the people of America make sure said the vice president of the Republic of America will resign. And I'm going to your friend said Gerald Ford didn't buy it. Gerald Ford buy a vice president, you know, a year after, somewhere August 1974. And the president now noticed so Watergate scandal falling. That is Nixon. So Gerald Ford is the only person in the history of the world that when the vice president and the president of America will be on to Obama because of scandal as we see here. Look at how people have suffered for this. By Hano, people mess up and we think so it's okay, he's a big man, he cannot face prosecution, the consequences, everything, and then you wave you off. And that is the kind of argument people are making. So kind of for the life running Ghana, Abra Yara Kurano he was dedicated to because of and the guy was out there making foolish investments, foolish decisions. And all these things was benefiting him. And it's the reason why I held on to. Because he was sitting on some of the things that you would day. On himself of Soroso Cotenafia, and once Baba. At the dying days, Nakufa do Unifrio. Or Unifrio will move out of this country. So the air cost not say a master plan or more draw and a play out. So Ghanaians should not fall for some of this nonsense. Aban should make sure say extradition process must be activated and making sure say these people yamfa omomra kroma and enyanya no maame na ono so omo convicted no for mass log no so akwatena bonte no. I think that process should also be activated. No ono so omfa na kroma say. You see, we need to be very ruthless in our approach. Now you're making sure say you cannot steal from this country and get away. And for me, that has always been my conviction because Captain, so what to when you call outside Accra? Now you see the way people are suffering then as a foreigner. So such a country, we cannot allow some of these things to happen and then people get away with it.
Thank you. Lucius.
Captain.
Be man na hojo. Yen kwai.
Captain me da se. Amemfa kwanya so na menchi a ahwefuo nyina. Menchi a ahwefuo nyina na menchi a NDC fo a benso baje bra be hwe nyina. Na captain yade de obia ni ho ne o wiase ha onyare. Obia etini yare e ma ne yi. Enti se koba ne se obedi dwumadi bi na se yade besi ho kwan a eno nko ade yetimi eden yetimi exempt o. Mpanimfo kan asem bi se yesai eyi yade. Enti se oye ohene mpo a usai se o se anadu anopa o bibia ye be frɛ obia no obeden obeba na mmom yade nko ane yade a ebetimi ama ohene ye be frɛ na obeka se o mintim nyede mintim emma enti Ofori Atta yare a ote se onipa bia a wa asase so enti no ebetimi aye nokre se oyare na mmom se woni obi yeden edi nkita ho a se otimi respect nipa no nso ni nyansa wati ase se otimi ema amanfo hu se onipa yi so o nyansa odwen enti no enka in the first place no Ofori Atta se o yare a ye no mu binum ye nya doctors enti no se o pese o ne ye communicate a ni papa mu ye se babi a ukoye a ye hwe wo no se utima saa hospital kro ana se doctor kro no oyeden ochro na otimi edebra OSP na ono nso etimi eden ekenkan se ono krant nsem na ewo krata no mu ase a megidie se your doctors akukudam wo ho a bebetimi ayeden akan na ba analyze edi a kire special prosecutor say yade asumasi no oyeden oyare mene wo kasa yi ye tini to ye nsafro OSP to nsafro na what make you excuse from January and I mean can say February no ho no ne issue we started say oto ne nsafro wa time bia o de yade eni yi ho ano yade na wo de yi ho ano no so nyina na akwa eti say wa mom no wo te ho no ma o churchron nkrata e de yede e de bre OSP na ene ya ye kan ho asem yi ene de kra mpo de akwa ye wife o yiri mom ne nne de ono ka kire Ghana fo se yade na o yare no ene wakwa ye surgery no awie eni nti no obeba in 3 months time. Now the question is that sa information you know ehefa no wife edi free or no communicate as a surgeon or no mom eye operation no no report ya Ghana for ana say or communicate as a personal aid ana say saying wahu nti wotimu say enya dia Ofori Atta na busuafo be respect Ghana for be muye in the first place because ohwe ne ya communication na or the buy no needless na che say kura mpo de kame akwati say ono na to information na to abontin say special prosecutor pa onkofa na ohun say ne kunu no ayeden akoye surgery eni into 3 months time ne obeba na unse eni na Ivan o sha ase okay say special Ofori Atta enye na dwen say obeba Ghana ne aba Ghana china enti eno aho tricks no ayeden wa sha ase a oye no and mene no so ya adwen asasem na okan mene no ya adwen in the first place na enu kwansa special prosecutor nhwe ha ma Ofori Atta every man
There be said that time no be an issue any arrest order be for him.
Say na ye information na open say we investigate no and 2% investigate na nipa no haro nko ade na ese nka otimi ade wo hwe investigate na ansa na wako be sabre ya wako akodi hoidie ebe dey wahu eni ntino ne me ka dia kwakwa wie say saa way of say ayi kenofori ata no na busuafo wo ho no ma na busuafo aka ache o se o red alert ayi na to wunyini mfiro wo ho ana na yere enso de ayi communicate eba wo ho ana nti chese kame akwa ti say buo na ne benye den be mu Ghana fo this is somebody what na Ghana high say atimi ayeden adi insamoni bebre ama busuafo ho ehwe kenofori ata ene ode yade eyi no ho ano but time na MPP was nyema bebre ekosu captain okai ayi ofrensen man Williams Tevi NCA charge bi ayi the ball Williams Tevi about $4 million ayi corruption the scandal papa not every week be no worry na issue na katita eshero but every week be na oko court twice every week oko court twice oko Tuesday no wasin akọ Thursday person be no spend 4 hours until within the week na man no spend 8 hours e court MPP for hunu mobo say obi a owo renal issue katita she o court na court na katita she no de court 4 hours within a week oko twice every nyina chi no ba mfa no wanche no besan jeli no 16 years where near MPP for 18 years no asasi so but jeli no 16 years na jail no nyina no osanko maritime hospital every year be from offense prison no akọ maritime hospital enti oda jail nyina no osane hwe no ho yade enti se yetim de yade yiye ho anu seji a e ma ne yeyi a adenti a ho no mom no wotimi prosecute obi ne oyare twina de no kotu na ho de hu nipa de MPP for no pese sometimes be pese paint picture bi I say be first class human beings bi a Bennett ye say be mom ne issue no fa be ho a justifiable but say any other person bi ade a ene yemfa no famra kwan so na nsan ya ya chi wu ntumi ana be ye woyo waya yi kwabnado for case be chi ayi kwabnado for bi a obeye ayi deputy governor esan be ye governor then time ayi bill terms abedi man no 100 million ene no na ye ayi chairman wuntumi de be ye hu dede saa enti no captain de me kan de akọwie say kenofori ata obi a wa mamanfo bebre awu Ghana ha wa mamanfo bebre anya ofrensen yade ne beko be yade what you say banking crisis ya ayi Ivan kan ho asemi now there wasn't any banking crisis bia artificial ban be creative be share that creative say na banks no issues because now the minimum requirement are banks ehia Ghana high say 120 million ne bank kasabetna ase share say yankuku minimum capital requirement emfa nko 400 million from just 120 million to offense 400 million now for that time ahode ama banks no say benfa ntu asa 400 million no just about 1 month be first can wo he wie ya nipa no antimi anya sika no antwi awle and bank no kra no onye liquid eninti no sem ye den me revoke ni licenses obi o ha no wa frɛ no say wo pede a and ye say consolidate ye keka bom obi o ha je say ye gu no na wo yes an ho de gu amanfo banks wo krom ha sei ne nyina no na ye wo kenofori ata wo na ye den wo da no wo na wo di sa aduma ni nyina before MPP ebeba na sa wo kenofori ata wo banks ne no business no na enruba bia adu but na hu wo adwempo bi say ho pese ho ba create some kind of financial empire ɛne yes Japadia document na ebeto odwa na amanfo ka ho asɛm no because na badwin nyina ebe say se bebeduru a beba be create financial empire yengugu amanfo banks yen say amanfo numa ɛno no saa ne betumi ama yen so yetime eden yetime ba be control system no ne neba ya se amanfo numa organ ha sei last meeting say na we interview amuabe issue no ka say Ofori Atta before obe na say wagu ne bank no amuabe bank no ona oni fia anado no ahu obi a oye wo ankasa wadamfo o timbet na ofie ni hu ene wudidi wonim pefe say o ba begu ne bank eno no krampo no wan ka hwe anche no ade a chenye na wo ho titi mu na nipa no teye ne say wagu ne bank nipa bonefo sem we selfa Dr. Indom bank na begu no ni companies dodo na be save wo sa bank wo the man Dr. Indom krabo from sa de no because na companies no dodo na GN electronics GN queries GN farm GN media GN whatever ni na ben so be save wo GN bank who collapse banks no sa companies ni nyina sika na ewo GM bank no kwanfa ama no kwanfa this kind of man sa companies na save wo sa GM banks ni nyina sika na ewo ho no who collapse ne who seize who freeze sa accounts ni nyina na se wotena ase eye obi se ya ena na man kan Dr. Ndo na ye friend no adwuma wura ono no create adwuma organ ha manipa bebre enya bi ye no ene ninuma ni nyina hwagu no kame akoya te se won create adwuma bi ada you see yentena wiase enye saa ene ya offense ye ka won se na wo ka ayifo asem wo sofu ya asem about ono so ka se National Cathedral ye ma be $25 million me asambe ma be 25 million Ghana cedis enu mom me den eya de a sika be mom ben sakaye so kame akoya te say enu the 58 million na Ghana for nyina ka ho
I don't know that time na fe year 28 na ma ho enti no ye Pentecost aso dem was Church of Pentecost PIWC Pentecost International Worship Center and na all chrim say that time no na ye mo sha say na 3 months into the administration of the cathedral no na buy no more $28 million and $25 million na no na parliamentarians ntia say but then no sikare beto my account no na nye government money as my papa kan no
and no oka source say na nye government
money
yes serious na government money wahu enti Ofori Atta adiboni bebre organ ha ya ene no sa public sympathy na open no on merit because enam ono ne nsamone a wadi so ama nipa bebre awuo krom ha sei enam ne so ama nipa bebre see sa domestic debt exchange a odi ba yi no enipa bebre pensioners ana be sika wo banks a na at least be pebidia to aduro mpo keke aduro obi a wakọ pension a ono di niska wo bank o pebia to aduro keke kura na onya eno so ne masa pharmacies ya wo kan na semu no eno so ne odi wuyi how entino captain meno de megidie say Ofori Atta nye ready say opese oba Ghana but ye hear more commitment from the OSP kame akwat say Ghana for asha say kase wo benje da hu how committed bia say OSP no what you say and again we hear no through hon ma ye wo other matters wo why say OSP no o den ohwehwem onye no ohwehwem because Ghana no ya aboka ache yes ka kodi amanfo ho ache this is the time say etimi den yetimi retrieve yes ka Ghana ha isi captain
is done
maybe that's it hey that time answer oh let me check account mam time kakawa na yen share rent issue no Ketu, and I be
yeah, I think that
anything separately.
Yeah, I think that cathedral issue, no, yes, it's an issue about when the tables were. We can't overlook it because opadia bakwa bogan economy to krupa bakwa ayonwa, and you see the air cost union. I've seen said the very people mulidi charge for this senseless enterprise. All of them are feigning ignorance, just like Papa Ikan say no nim. Now you what to board so now $25 million free baby to account to as a reasonable person you inquire to know where the money is coming from. Meboa $25 billion Jessica Ketwa. Me former chairman Agasa no. Says to account to man. You should be able to inquire to know the source of Sandema way na ya yati ha yanko sono. Because if we look at personalities, we don't look at the deeds that they do. Because these are people more studied to a higher level, no? They should be asking all the critical questions. Me, young man, I met here. I shouldn't be the one to ask this question. They are the grown men. Or more what that particular intellectual weight to be able to ascertain all this. Captain, yet to come at the time and yes, I am man. Now I'm Krama from North. Eba Kumas by Kayaye. Yes, yes, Kaya Yamomo. And some of the villages, you know, Nipana and Moa and Numinsuo from the same stream. Now we are suffering a mini Panabet, dear Nimusiam Fagana, Sikankosi Cathedral. When if Rena unity could walk Koleburu, we couldn't finance people. We know however. These are issues that we need to talk about. Listen, you see, some of this nonsense, and I entertain or chroma or mine on Kosovo because me, I got pissed off when that particular idea $25 million cathedral and impact ni there. I'm not mutu yeah. Me say Ghana is serious country. That man will not go to. That I'm more video. Me say Ghana is serious country. And Kenya sorry and over kwatena or chiri because I'm in jail cell and on I'm not chiri because Ghana is serious. It's the reason why they are still working. Yet to chroma say. And Cranke to us, who said that enterprise now was senseless. We didn't need to. You so for one catches a bonsam for bonsam na boy pa because it's a yes, sorry, make sure that we can build hospitals, we can build schools, and make sure that we empower young people because in the world, no APC. Look at how countries are investing in technology, advances, AI, robotics, and as a form, trying to reposition their young kids to take advantage of the world that is emerging because most of the job when you go digital on digital platforms you need to train your people to take advantage so sir sikana dey yes any money na but make a children say see cathedral nyankopon dey born be chai na 100% nyankopon fa dey born be nche no captain we are not serious nyankopon dey born be chai say civil war ba avete na ye kwakwa ye heavily food ye the man and Israel man and na say for ba be gum Israel peace im rom way. We need to get serious in this country. Brasa, I never win. I can't answer some chair. They didn't listen. I know the day, no. It got to a point I didn't jeans. I moved by a software actual letter. My resign, by we actual letter. Now my resign. And I'm telling you that these people are coward. Even the courage to tell Ghana for say we are sorry because in some who you know we are resigning. None of these cowards and was able to apologize to the people of this country. All that they did, they said I have uncovered corruption, so I am hesitating where when the crime has already been committed. And America just said Ghana is a serious country. And each one of these people need to be bundled together and making sure say, we are not witch hunted, but we need to investigate every one of them. Obia exercise discretion, I have very stupid discretion, and now so my Ghana lose Sikano. We need to. They didn't know say Yakubu judges dying to Agu. They didn't know say baby and I question near the farm for life. They didn't know say I didn't hear the intimate Amani betu. Because you are not sat here and I told you said there is no way between a complete cathedral because funding and as a phone, you never was no mark for my sika. Parliament cry among a man there. Until so far no mugu board no so sikana buy no. Who be saying who be a sikana free? Almost all your fundraising. I'm carbon take quite fundraising. The sikaba no about Kruma. I'm they can buy. And I think that you see, Sanema way na yama man for play on our emotions for all this why in the name of this God. The meaning say assume you made impact on people. Just to make positive impact. Build the moral faculties in us. But is that what some of the churches are doing? And the church na dan magic na your friend say we na malam sem na yet church na ye obi the bag is one wa chanting na sika gum na ye design them this nonsense we are displaying for people to watch. I think we need to get serious and move beyond some of these things. See your church and the whole essence of church and say yam building the moral facilities within people so by people will be responsible, integrity and that kind of way. Look at the society. The moral fiber of this society is shattered and broken. You can't trust human beings now. You can't trust Obi Bear the right thing. We push people to government, mess up. Even churches nankasa corruption. This is the responsibility of our religious institution, both Muslim, Christian, and as a form, and magic, and then yachem, the yami or them phobia. The NSA making sure that you impact positively on people. Sabaya Captain Smart bedin or Captain Smart had never to baby. Abakase, because of in some moral foundation, we are bedu or munitino. Oh, yeah, dear crowd. Look at the society we live in. Do you see those things? Because the churches have moved from that moral education, magic. Say and I take over the space. Nobody is teaching Obi a choir ankasa. And the reason why we are here. So for me, I think that we need to set a sample with these people. Now you're making sure, say, next time we far or mind seeker, you'll be very careful. It doesn't matter where you are. See a casa cathedral when I be near Mabisea. Do you know who not whom you say? Sikana ya de mameno, I am Rakanson, I fire de mamen. Nasasania is not as he said they didn't know. They knew because some of us were out there telling them all these things. Any say yes, I know. They never listen. Let me back to the rent issue. Look at the problem. Housing deficit, because and then housing a big issue. And this is can think into me. You tell about me promises or behind them my young people. Now young people be behind them movie. Empower the people, let them work or work or not behind them. I don't need government to rent for me. For how long? You understand?
That's right.
Provide them job. Or Jumana out of the proceeds, no one can behind them. Housing deficit is all over. Saglimaesi or we are not more far. So, Captain, I think the rent issue is one issue. Government will have to pay attention to because Accra, a idea draining a lot of young people. And then the man, yes, 2 years, 3 years. That's the kind of amount. But Emrao Hose, you can't even take your rent advance more than 6 months. Emrao Ho, I think the parliament is working on that particular law to push it to 1 year. But these things are not working. So I think that a government touch about Ghana for those areas. We need to say president say new capital. For me, I think that at this time, it's unnecessary for now because you see, if you look at some of the towns like Uko, your friend say Teshi Labad in Nasafona. Some of our dynasties, why don't you come out with a plan and redevelop these areas? Land now, we see how you can give the ground floor to the family. Then the about Tosso Abontimbiano. Government can rent it out. People will have a place to stay, and it will decongest Accra. We don't need to move to go and build new city anywhere. Right. I think that decongestion, say yes, I am a bit more creative space for a man for a take away some of these challenges.
All right, Nana Machinawa was saying, I say I love listening to Ivan. Is he married? No. Pass off. And I'm actually Ivan is not married, but you are engaged. Lucius,
that's it.
Tepamahine says I won't come on you and pay one carbon. That's the message he sent to me.
Why?
Tepamahine. That's one carbon and pay.
Oh, sir, Casa, Tino, say. Oh, Casa, no, I mean, can say involuntarily,
As I don't pay.
Captain, National Cathedral, we say Yaka, corruption now, Yasu na Ekahubi, Enema, Sani Manuina, 18 year day, 18 Koso. Say, President Esoreka say, oh yeah, project BTSA. In the first place, Moons okay say, and now there's obey or mine sika. Time and another, and I've been said, or Babisi National Cathedral, okay, say, now the obey or mine sika, maybe I day, EDS. Now, every channel, say obey or mine sika, and I say, use or mine sicano. Assassin now, Quacosino, so now your mind idiot. Assassin so crying and ye petema, assassin and Edaho. Asasi na yewo project bebree ewo so yewo buildings bebree wo so a ukobubu ayi adan no ye den etugu yi wo ye no so cry free ho no ma wo ka se obeba be ye ayi appeal for fund bio se den na enu mom ne wo de ekwakwa de wo de kwakosi na amanfo bi sase ntu ye sure say sa appeal for fund now ba be ye no enu mom betimi asi National Cathedral and no me gidie say asofo a bedbeto board no so a na be hwese National Cathedral na ABC no be mum na ese nka bedi no kre what you say ha be mum na ese nka bedi no kre na mum nokridie bi antimi anyede antimi ama
ambeda di nokre anya omo an omo san like forest ayi omo se galam se omo koto ye nara ya sase ni se ko paye no these are hypocrite
wahu enti no nokridie antimi anyede antimi ama captain hwe se yetena ase na esoso niema bi mususe ya won Ghana no enya de a yebekọ yanim da wachi ase ene me no wokase no sa national cathedral na ankasa kra no me megidie se bibia na yakọ so ho meti se ayi bribi se president ke se be ye hu adumo se bisa me feel say ho no kra de ni kwan se ye diska bia akọ bi
ebi onsi mahama onsi
ai enu kwan se diska bia akọ bi
also de be ye mother and child hospital
good enti ayi board na yesete up no so no they should call them to account and in the enye say bia be ba be che say ye the 25
so for kan hunti we say yen call for account when so for na nko jail
oh say yen ka say jail say ya mo
sika they account $25 million and to kuro na da ono
na say mutu so for account fa no honko
o say na person ka person nyam kaseti
mutu so for
captain one is
I person nyam kaseti
captain unu say ohene ba so nto ate what you say aha ye to ata na say wo de wate besi so a na onim say edi na obeka say wo ye hene banti ma ye mfa ate na
to ate no bi
an ye to ate no bi enti unim say wo ye sofo na e de to board so na ebi asika fa ansa to na ye be flow for accountability na le obeka say wo ye sofo an ye flow board bi aso a enko what you say na mo okonko ade na say di sika ma wa enye enough so obegina sondem a kire sika a ebeto account mu
Ghana for na
onye press conference no board so no da na da Ghana board so enti sabe we say no se betim be den ebe account ko account ya na say ayi uhu so a say ne ayi bele say uti mfita nti amwanku so ahu enti no benya den obenya oti adidi eni nti no corruption hwe ya do so hwe ayi na no abaya ya oni na national service wo no hwe ne why no ayi gan ono de ya kromfo ankasa what I say because niema na oye no ho no say what na ase na say odwen ho tumi say o share that pa say oni ni kunu be bo Ghana fo kro no because want mu inflate ayi figures national service fo a be wo ho no na ayi number no why no times be 2 na wo mom odeko na say the sika no ma wa na wa divert dia kogu offense and private account wo wie nso a wo team national service for dimbe 900,000 na wo de akọ serve as a collateral now they akọ secure loan about 30 million
so dia ma no
eye kro no ankasa na sa ba yo na dwen se obebo oman no what you say enti ntena se enso so sa nema we so sa se ka se ye tena se ane oman no bebo
me da se for no kwasem wonyame nim se yesi ye bedi MPP for kro no omobo ye chia wo ho me do nyame na do fie of flowers na betutu akodua no wonsamom yesi ye bedi kro no MPP for boy ye chia wo ho ene niam omo ye wo ha ka kofa do fie ho ni ma ho flowers ni nyina yesi tutu ni na de konsamom kodua ho eso mu nyina koje ko se nso kra de gu su kra na corruption ska base ye hwe de ewura baye I've amenda wase eno a passion for chairman Father's Day ade am so mam 2 enka ho na mbabli ache nti happy Father's Day from Passion Air.
Thank you.
And then hey why did I mention now no problem me kwa here for from happy Father's Day
thank you
Lucius almost mate wo fair so tese ukoto tikita fofofo
member metese na o kase ba ate so 10%.
O mate so 10%. Won so pe na o play ni 2 enso to ne ewi ma ekusu den kra pilot ni timi fam. Anti. They are done no. Emsha, I mean fa won see here ya so